And go.
How you doing? What's going on, everybody? I am Austin Andrews.
I'm Mike Kemp. Follow my Instagram.
Please.
Follow my Instagram at Dash Tales Podcast. Follow my Instagram. And donate to our Patreon, which you remember better than me, so why don't you do it?
Patreon.com/area22.
All right.
That's it.
We're talking about cartoons.
Mike feels as if he needs to take the reins.
I'm not saying, well, why are we talking about cartoons?
Well, cartoons are very important, Mike, because they're a very useful medium for telling a story.
My parents would disagree with you.
Why?
Because I watched too many cartoons when I was a little kid. Anyway.
Throughout the show, Mike is going to be drawing us our own cartoon.
Well, I was going to do that for the last thing you had there on the prompt.
Well, no, but brainstorm, like keep it in your mind, you know?
Sure, let me brainstorm some little cartoons. Let me put the pen really close to the microphone.
No, don't do that.
Have some ASMR.
No. Some pen ASMR.
That's real.
Well, I know, but
that one I actually could get down with. I don't know. It's like you hear someone writing. It's like it reminds me when I fell asleep in class.
There's actually this audio thing. There's this audio thing where to test out headphones, and it's actually writing going back and forth between your ears as ASMR for writing.
Oh, really?
See, so stop calling me stupid.
It goes like from all the way out
calling
here
you
and all the way
stupid.
across, and this like tests how wide the headphones are.
Cool beans. All right. So, like I said, or rather, like we said, we're gonna talk about cartoons. Mike, why do you like cartoons so much?
They're an escape. As usual, that's most of my answer. But, going back from aesthetics, it's kind of good to see how aesthetics could act in movement. You know, definitely, maybe not so many. I don't think cartoons nowadays are, I wouldn't consider a lot of them art because a lot of them are like carbon copies of each other. But back in the day, cartoons were like a marvel to look at. They'd show them before films and like, look at this. This is moving art. It was when it was new, there was more work put into it. Like the backgrounds would be hand painted, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, like take that that Disney flick,
Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but that specific one called Fantasia. Yeah, that little sequence of artistic expressions. Remember? Yeah. Like it was one of the very very strong early endeavors in the Disney canon.
Well, it wasn't like the first motion picture. I don't know if this is right, but the first motion picture animated film, was Snow White.
I think so, yeah.
I think. Like, imagine being like. It's just like we were conditioned to think like cartoon. Like, this is the thing about cartoons nowadays. Like, there's a stigma that they're for kids, but back in the day, like adults would be watching cartoons because they were cool. Because like they'd never seen art move before.
For one thing, the cartoons back in the day were
also had adult themes.
Well, yeah, a lot of them had adult themes, and a lot of them were expensive. So the only adults would see them, so they would tailor them specifically for them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wasn't easy to see television or moving pictures back then because, well, the cost to make them and distribute them was just so high. You know, with film, reel, and stuff like that, it wasn't easy.
I just had a good idea for a cartoon. Hold up. Keep going.
He's going. But we're gonna sort of cross-examine some of the old cartoons from the day. I think I should go in chronological order with Tom and Jerry.
Oh my God, yeah, Tom and Jerry. So the thing about Tom and Jerry, and I don't know if this is like a smart thing or like an observation, but you ever notice that like it's always the aggressor in cartoons back in that day who would get screwed over, and then, like, so Tom would always get screwed over because he'd start the aggression with Jerry. Now the funny thing about this is, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? That's a good question. Well, I guess sort of zoom out and look at the broader scope of Tom and Jerry's, the way that it expressed its themes, I suppose. Like, Tom was obviously a lot bigger, but I guess was implied to be a lot more brutish than Jerry. And Jerry was small, but seen as a lot more witty.
Yeah. Now, you notice, though, that happens in a lot of cartoons. Now, I'd like to point out that, like, that's definitely a rule. That's definitely a rule from that period. The aggressor gets screwed over. And the reason for this, because Bugs Bunny, right? When does Bugs Bunny ever lose? Someone always comes and bothers him, right?
Yeah.
The one time he loses is against, I forgot his name. It was a turtle. The turtle, like it's obviously a joke of the turtle and the hair thing.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know that cartoon.
I don't remember his damn name. I think it was something really stereotypical like Sheldon. But Bugs starts the aggression with the turtle, and the turtle ends up like beating Bugs.
Yeah.
So like I do wonder why was that a rule? Like I feel like this is the thing. I feel like people were copying each other a lot back in the day because there wasn't much to go off of. And I had a train of thought with this. Oh, HannaBarbera. That's what I was going to go into, which you do have there on that list. I see.
Yeah.
The thing with Hanna-Barbera, they call that the dark ages of the cartoons because all the shows were the exact same with different animals.
Yeah, they were.
There would always be the dumb like protagonist with his cute small little sidekick, like Quick Draw McGraw and the little donkey, or Yogi Bear and
Boo Boo.
Yeah, it was the same thing all the time.
Quick Draw McGraw was kind of funny though.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, like his whole thing with oh kabong.
Oh, kabong. Yeah,
it was actually kind of funny.
But why was there such a creative freaking deficit after like you had things like Popeye, you had Mickey Mouse, you had Disney, like you had all this.
Mike, do a Popeye impression, please.
You had all these. You had all these cartoons that had creativity in them. And then you just get a bunch of animals.
Okay,
That's just Baldwin.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's
just your D&D character.
There's a reason for that. All right, so my cartoon right now, I drew, and I have another point as to why I did such a stylistic choice here. It is a very irate, grumpy grandfather octopus.
Yeah. What? What's wrong?
Now, I wanted to point out something that I noticed about cartoons. How much do you need this?
Down. Pull it down.
Down here. Up.
Down. Good.
All right, you see my beautifully drawn octopus?
Yeah.
You notice he only has 6 tentacles.
Wait a second.
He only has 6 tentacles.
So a squid?
Now, this is the thing. Cartoons often... A technique is they'll omit things that make the art complicated, even if it's not accurate. That's why cartoon characters have 4 fingers.
Oh,
and that's why like Squidward has
that's also why a lot of the cartoons they wear gloves.
Yeah, it's another reason. Also because there's so much black on the screen that they wanted to put some. Because like it'd be hard to see things being interacted with if it was
just a black, like a bunch of fingers
it would look like a
overlapping
blob
with each other. Like yeah,
it'd be gross. They still keep it. And even characters. See, I think that has a kind of like an icon type thing because even characters made more recently, like Sonic or Mario, have the damn white gloves, but they don't. They weren't They were never. Well, they were cartoons. Some good cartoons, but they didn't start off that way.
Another thing like is the use of like things like scarves or like collars or like suits, you know, to make it so they didn't have to animate the neck like.
Or it's like, this is something I like doing when like it's obvious that you don't know how to draw hands, so you just like go like that and just friggin'.
What is that?
It's just a rough drawing of a circle.
Close it forward. There.
It's just
what is it?
All right, let me put arms. All right, so this is what people will do. It's clearly a head, a body, and now badly drawn arms.
Oh, okay.
Drawing hands is annoying, so they'll just not draw them. They'll just make it like a cutoff.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, I know what you mean. I see what you mean.
Just drawing hands is hard, dude.
No, it's really, really difficult. But going back to Tom and Jerry, the thing about Tom and Jerry was it was definitely deeply sort of ironic. Because like, oh, the cat can't catch the mouse.
Yeah,
that was like the first bit of comedy, and obviously like there's a bit of irony.
And then the little guys being the big guy so bad.
Yeah, and then there was like this. What's the word?
Reminds me of the Mike's Mysteries I'm going to do today.
And there was this very, very palpable violence. Like there was a lot of violence, especially with like a lot of those other cartoons.
Like violence today. I don't know. Violence has a really weird
place in
it always phases in and out of cartoons.
Yeah,
like I feel like it's starting to phase back in a bit, but like there was a time period where you couldn't even show anything violent. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, slaps, like you made the violence funny. All right, this is the thing. This is what I wanted to go over.
Yeah.
And I know you have Ed and Eddie written down there because
Yeah.
you claim it's arguably one of the most famous Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah.
Which I would agree, it's one of, definitely not the most. But the thing is, the thing about Ed and Eddie was it was great for its slapstick. But when it came to put in a story, it did it in a way that wasn't ham-fisted at all, which I admire. The thing, they did something really smart with slapstick, though. So for anyone who's watched Ed and Eddie, at the last episode, they find Eddie's brother, the only adult shown in the show, and this character that was, like, a mystery to everybody, but, like, feared and stuff. And, like, everyone, like, the whole movie is filled with slapstick, and then he gets there and he starts being violent, and it's not funny anymore because he's just so much older. You know what I mean? Like, they made slapstick they managed to make the slapstick not funny. Because, like, Eddie's desperately trying to get him to stop, and, like, everyone's, like, just wincing at it. I just think that's crazy. Like, I feel like slapstick is only funny because of how people react to it in the show. If everyone was like, oh my god, you wouldn't think it was funny.
Oh, yeah. There's scenes where, like, Kevin will legitimately, like, beat them, like...
Dude, Rolf wears a hammer on his head and nails Double D into the ground. And they're smacking each other with, like, basses. Now, that's funny.
Yeah.
But, like, watching, like, this adult hit a kid is just not funny, even if it is slapstick.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I just admire that it was able to do that.
Well, not only that, like, if you notice, like, the music in that scene also really shifted the tone from being, like, very funny to just being very ominous.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's another thing, like, again, from aesthetics, like, it's combining different styles to completely shift an entire art medium changes the way that a message, like, as it's being, like, given across, which I think is pure lunacy.
Yeah.
But on Ed and Eddie, I guess, like, how do you sort of see the transfer from older cartoons, like the early Hanna-Barberas, like Tom and Jerry wasn't a Hanna-Barbera.
Well, the thing with it was the transition mostly happened because Cartoon Network wanted to start making they weren't made for Cartoon Network, those shows. They wanted to start making their own. So they came out with the first cartoons. It was about a dog. It's a really obscure cartoon, which is odd because it was like one of the first cartoons, but like I can't even remember the name. It was just before my time. But then they slowly got into what we got in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and then it transferred further into what it is now, which I say with disdain a bit.
But it was going from that extremely rigid Hanna-Barbera format of
to wackier things.
Well, it wasn't even that. Like, if you notice, like, it started revolving more around the trope of the Three Stooges, kind of.
Oh yeah, like Ed and Eddie. Basically.
Yeah, Ed and Eddie, Camp Lazlo, if you remember.
I do.
Yeah. There was a couple other ones.
Well, it was mostly revolving around duos who were stupid too, like Cow and Chicken.
Yeah.
Or
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. That's Nickelodeon, but yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
Well, it was.
Well, we could generalize both of them.
Yeah.
SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I guess you could count Squidward as a third stooge, but he doesn't like enjoy what they're doing. You know, much like this ripoff I just drew.
Squidward does have a special place in that show, though, which I'll go over. But
what'd you do? The straight man.
Yeah,
as they call him.
Yeah, but the thing is that like it made the show sort of immoral because it allows it to grow with you.
Yeah, like some shows date themselves by using pop culture too much.
Yeah, but like I think what I told you before when we were talking about the prompt is that like how cartoons, what they'll do is that they'll go from I think it's kind of like you said, like they go from periods of violence to like more violence to go Puritanism to.
There's trends. It especially has to do with how. It also has to do with how technology changes. Because back when cell shading was a thing, you had a much more diverse, like array of like art and and styles. Now, since a lot of things are done on Flash or Toon Boom, and a lot of things look very similar.
Yeah.
Especially on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's with cartoons, it's that,
it goes through eras of style, definitely. Like, the 2000s had sharp edges. The 90s often other than like the sharp, also at sharp edges towards the end, but like in the beginning and along with the late 80s, it always had like a kind of anime kind of aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Like TMNT or something.
Yeah. There's so many. Like, I mean, you can...
Speaking of violence, you should read the TMNT comic book that the shows are adapted. It was violent. It was really violent. Good stuff. Violence is funny, dude.
As told by Mike.
It is, though.
There's so many different there's so many different angles we can go at. But one of the things I want to ask you is like the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
How does its creation like sort of show and express the perception of I guess young girls and that in the age when it was very popular?
See, I think from a angle that I feel like you're going at with them being girls.
Yeah, because like it wasn't.
I think it made such a better statement about like strength, you know, like girl power. I think it made just a better like outlook on it. It made them like obviously not realistic, but like it makes sense as to why they have these powers and like why they decide to use them and like growing up. Like it's like a coming of age story, but instead of a boy, it's a girl, and like it makes better sense that way.
Yeah.
Even though it's not technically like a story. And you also see them like lose a lot of things. They don't let them lose, but like you still see them. They usually win. The only times they don't win is when they're fighting literally Satan. Like they usually are fine. And that one clown had them on the ropes. That was so funny. And then Bubbles used the power of love. Like you see like stuff like that, like being nice. It had good morals, even though it was a violent show.
But it found a really good way to show the proper benefits of like sort of femininity in some fashion.
Yeah, because a lot of cartoons were like, this is the thing, women were not depicted very well in cartoons. They were often like the housewife, and that's it. They often had no
or they were like a Naz in Any Speaking.
Yeah, they were like a sex object.
Yeah, the dumb blonde. Sort of
even when they were the protagonists and they were heroes, like I think like Gem and the Holograms or something, they made them look like attractive.
Yeah,
and that's where like they wanted most of the people to look at, you know.
Yeah,
Powerpuff Girls didn't do that. It had like little like realistic little girls who were just powerful, and you know all that stuff. There was nothing else to it. It was just a story where they happened to be girls and they dealt with both girl things and like things that like a guy could deal with too.
Yeah,
like a friggin' giant monkey knocking things over.
Those giant monkeys, they're always a problem in today's society.
Reminds me of the
Why are you laughing so hard, Mike?
Reminds me of the fact that
Why are you dodging the question, Mike? All right, go on.
Reminds me of the fact that what's his name? the leader of the Gangrene Gang.
He came on the Gorillas.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say he's on the Gorillas now.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, because Murdoch is in jail or something. I remember someone said he died in jail. He's not actually in jail in real life. It's in the canon.
Yeah.
And apparently he escaped, and there's a picture of what is his name? Is it Axel? I don't.
Ace, Snake,
Ace,
Billy, Grubber, and Little Arturo.
Yeah, his name's Ace.
Little Arturo.
There's a screenshot of Powerpuff Girls of Ace where it says, "Oh, sup," and then across the real name says Murdoch. We thought you died.
What's the real nonsense?
Also, you notice another good thing Powerpuff Girls with that idea involving the femininity and stuff. They didn't. A lot of shows, if it was a female, the villains would also be female. The villains were male in Powerpuff Girls mostly, and there were some females.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think it's interesting. You know, like seeing them realistically beat something. I don't know. Like he didn't. I think he was careful, or at least not really thinking too hard about it. Like
you mean Craig McCracken, or?
Yeah.
Like the guy who created it?
Craig McCracken, yeah. I was calling him Sean McCracken in the frickin' diner. Sean McCracken, no. Yeah, Craig McCracken. What's cracking, Craig? If you're watching this, which I know for a fact you absolutely are not.
Well, we hope that you seek help, Craig, if you are.
No. Oh no, well, I do feel bad for Craig because his one show on Disney, Wander Over Yonder. Yeah, it got kind of screwed over. And his other show, he managed to make such an infuriating show, Foster's. I can't watch that show anymore.
Why?
I thought it was good when I was a kid because every single character is such a jerk. I get like infuriated watching it.
There's only one that isn't. It's like Will, right?
Yeah, Walt,
whatever.
Will. No,
No, I think.
Foster's Home?
Yeah, I think it's Walt.
Walter.
Wilt?
Wilt.
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 So it was a combination of the two. Crazy.
Yes, it was Wilt because he was like all bandaged up.
That's another thing.
He was a great character, but everyone else was so self-absorbed. It's It's like Seinfeld if everyone in Seinfeld was even more abrasive.
If it seems like we're bouncing between topics, it's really hard to like pin down.
Because we didn't write a damn thing.
No, hold on. I wrote some things down here.
Much like cartoons today, they don't often use a script anymore. They're storyboard driven.
Which is why they're so awful.
Yes, it is why. Although to be fair,
hold on. Did you know that this isn't really cartoon related? But did you know that the first script that they used for Aquaman, like the first draft of it, they just used it?
See, you're supposed to use storyboards to guide along the script, I believe.
Yeah.
Like storyboards are good, but you need a script. Like some shows got away with it. Like I know Flapjack, I believe, was a storyboard-driven show, and that was all right. But
a dark show.
It was a dark show.
It was funny as heck.
But everybody was the reason it was so.
Hold on. There was a scene like just to see how funny like Flapjack is. There was a scene where like they were trying to. Like Flapjack, Captain Knuckles gave him like a massive screwdriver to take apart this one magic genie, mechanical genie that they were trying to mess with, and Flapjack was like using it very carefully to unscrew like the back panel, and Knuckles just like listen, he literally stops like the whole facade in the middle of it to tell him that's not how you use it, and he grabs from it and starts beating the case over the head with the end
that's
of
another example of an idiotic duo.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is it got away with it because most of the storyboarders are on board with how the show wanted to go. Other shows, they'll do whatever they want and it becomes a mess.
Well, that's another thing.
I'm not going to name names.
Well, that's another thing. Like, when you listen to these interviews with these, like, you know, cartoonists and their staff, you hear how it's like the way that they can make it come across is that it's like a whole culture, you know, in like in its own studio, which is like really interesting because.
What do you think our culture is?
What?
What do you think our culture is?
Oh God. Okay, now you're not even trying to not make him look like Squidward. Come on.
Crap, you're right.
Erase that. Oh wait, you can't.
Oh, with my pen? Sure.
You gave him a big nose.
I'll give him. If I give him a hat, he's gonna look like Oswald.
Who knows? Who even cares about Oswald?
I care about Oswald. It was a good show.
Okay, fine. Then don't give him a hat then. Anyway, but it's interesting because like it just goes to show you how like for one thing how difficult it is to make cartoons, but what it really like the amount of soul that actually goes into them, you know?
Yeah, you could tell when it's something soul and soulless.
Yeah, like I was watching the really old like 2006. Like 2006 interviews of like.
That is so old.
We're going back.
No, listen, that is old, bro.
Some of our viewers were born
in 2006, but no, like I was listening to those old 2006.
God, I'm so old. I'm the only person watching. That's not true. We got Miguel. Miguel's always like on the ready. Man,
he's always on the.
Way back on topic.
But like I was watching the old sort of like interviews from when Ed, Edd n Eddy was in its heyday, and like it's crazy. Like the one thing they'll always say, like sometimes we just automatically stay in character when we're going into the studio, not even like totally by accident sometimes, and they'll all just say about how much they absolutely just love doing this with each other, and like you can really tell that the passion's there, you know. Like I feel as if cartoons have such passion that like certain other mediums really don't, you know, especially in the creators.
No, because you get the benefits of both acting and art.
Yeah,
like it's different from a movie. I don't know. I feel like you could be a way wackier character in a cartoon.
No, exactly. Like you can't I feel as if in live action sort of film, like this is the reason why I can't even watch live action like stuff anymore. Not really. It's because it's so hard to find like someone who's actually putting some kind of soul into the character, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel. Like it comes across as very. It comes across as if I'm watching somebody acting, not like I'm watching a character in a story, you know. But like with these, especially with these older cartoons that we really enjoy, like the medium makes it so you're sort of divorced from the parts of the actor that seem apparent to you.
Yeah.
But you get all the better parts of them, you know, like you get their inflection, you get their the way that their voice sort of just like extends beyond the barrier to bring this sort of moving picture to life. And then you all you need to do is just hope that the people who animate are good at their jobs. So they can properly do it. For one thing, listen, this is like Tumblr page where it's like I think it's called What the Hell Scooby Doo, and it's like shows all the horrible, atrocious animating errors in the original Scooby Doo.
See, Scooby Doo is weird though, because I believe that was HannaBarbera and it was a lot different. But then there was also Jabberjaw, which was just Scooby Doo with the shark.
Nobody knows about that one, but it was literally just Scooby Doo.
It was just Scooby Doo. There was so many Shaggy ripoffs.
Yeah.
Like that one where he's a sailor. Like, what's so good about Shaggy that he's been ripped off more than Scooby Doo?
Because he has like literally enough power to destroy the whole universe, dude.
And I think they got so desperate. You know, like they got desperate to the point where they had to add another version of Scooby Doo, which was Scrappy Doo, and that set a bad standard for like making what's the word for that type of character? I think it's like a it's just a character that steals the show. Like, the only time it really worked in the show's benefit was Steve Urkel. Because Family Matters was really boring. And then they put in Steve Urkel. They made the show wacky. He was like, oh, this is a good show. He was a cartoon-ish character.
Yeah.
You know?
It bridges the gap, kind of.
Yeah, it bridges the gap between... Like, you don't want the show to be too realistic or it's, like, depressing. It's like imagine you're watching shows like... I have tuberculosis.
What? Oh.
Oh, I got an F on my paper. Yeah, life sucks. The credits roll. And then instead of that, you get...
Funny,
I have tuberculosis. Well, I got this tuberculosis cure 3000, and it's like a freaking... It's like a robotic hand you just shoves down like Eddie's mouth, and it just rips the bacterium out of his lungs. It's like, wow, look at this.
Rips his throat out. Did I do that?
Did I do that? Steve!
Wait, what's his name?
Steve.
No, the other guy.
Eddie. Well, no, there's Eddie is the brother, and then there's Carl Winslow. The Winslows.
Kills Carl.
See, it was boring. Like, all right, the dad was a cop. The mom, I think, was a stay-at-home mom. And the kids were kids. And that's the whole show. And then you got Urkel, who just walks in all like...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Urkel. Like, oh, I'm gonna completely change the tone of the show single-handedly and become the biggest thing the '90s had to offer, other than Bart Simpson, who was actually like the main draw of the Simpsons back then, and then it changed to Homer, and that's when you noticed the decline. Sneed. That's when you noticed the decline. Sneed.
Shut up. Oh, Jesus. Let's talk about one of the most popular adult shows ever created, Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That's a good show.
That was a good show.
Here, let me draw an anthropomorphic food item.
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
hasn't been done before?
A churro.
That's hard.
Cake.
A funnel.
A cannoli. It's not a cannoli.
There's a funnel cake. You want me to draw a funnel cake? Am I Picasso? A real food item.
Spaghetti.
Empanada.
Spaghetti's been done before, and empanada's boring. See, you guys aren't creative. You both are, like, creatively dead. No, I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding, but still. A what?
A bitten into Whopper.
What did you just say?
Taco bowl.
A taco bowl.
Yeah.
It's not a taco. It's the bowl full of lettuce and meat and whatnot and rice.
Who's ever eaten that before?
Me?
What?
But they're pretty popular.
Oh, is that the thing Trump ate?
Yeah.
I love... Oh, man. What was your suggestion?
I said a bitten into Whopper.
All right.
Actually, I think I said a Big Mac, but whatever.
That was at McDonald's.
A hamburger. A cup of coffee.
It has to be I'll do
It's a grilled
coffee.
chicken.
A freaking yogurt cup with the tissue balled up into it. What do you want?
That's so gross, dude. You know what? Do something really gross. Those pretzel sticks that came with the cheese and that little red stick.
Do it, whatever.
Or
Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos.
Just do it. We're way off topic.
All right, keep going. I'm drawing the coffee.
All right. Wait. It's Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't.
One of the hood G.
Yeah, number one in the hood G. I don't think you can find a bigger show about absolutely nothing than anywhere.
Seinfeld, the show that's literally about nothing.
Oh, well, I guess you can. But I mean, an animated show.
Just B movie.
B. Well, B movie was a little wild. They freaking sniped into Pooh Bear. Basically killed him.
Good.
Take him out. All right. But I don't think you can really ever find a show that was more about nothing, like animated show anyway. Because like, what was funny, like when I was watching like the sort of like the videos, like the sort of behind the scene videos of it, what they did was they pitched it as a show that where the characters who are all food items. Like, again, it's like a sort of.
Well, didn't it show up on Harvey Birdman first?
Yeah, no, it did, but they were like there were concepts for them. But the thing is that like what's the word? It was pitched totally different than what it actually became.
Well, that's a lot of shows.
Yeah, it was, but.
There's a big cuppa.
Got tilt it forward.
Big cuppa right there.
Right there. Do there. And we're good.
That's a big cuppa.
Mike the artist.
His backstory is he's a cup of coffee, and he's always grumpy because he hates mornings.
Oh wow. Who poured him?
He I don't know.
Morning in the mornings.
He wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes to sleep at 11 a.m. He's only sentient for about 4 hours.
Oh,
That's also.
I was
5
like,
hours.
I was like, wait, how much time is that?
Not much. Not much. Big Cuppa is not a morning person, but perpetually only exists in the morning. Truly a character of suffering.
Yo, Adult Swim, please pick this up, please,
Or put Aqua Teen Hunger Force back on the air.
please.
I'm about to hashtag AS right now and see what they say.
No.
No. Kind of Metalocalypse Police. Death Clock was a good band.
That was Death Clock. That was a band.
Yeah, Death Clock was the
That's what
band.
he said.
Metalocalypse was
Said
the.
Metalocalypse was a good band.
No, I said Death Clock was a good band.
Oh my God, who cares? We're not even on topic. Whatever.
It's a cartoon.
I know, but I was talking about Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, same thing.
No, it kind of is, but but like just to show you like the pure absurdity of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. This is one scene where like the Grim Reaper, there's this company called Grim Reaper Gutters.
Oh,
that
yeah.
comes to
I won't leave until I make a sale.
no, he's like, I won't leave until I make a sale. And so it's like this guy, he's literally the Grim Reaper. He comes over to sell you like gutters. And like he won't leave until he sells you the gutters.
Yeah,
and if you don't buy them, he just literally kills you.
It takes cliches and like changes them up to make it funny.
But there's nothing cliche about it.
No.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, the whole salesman that won't leave until he like
the
makes a
three
sale.
Stooges, Meatwad, Shake, and Frylock,
Yeah.
and then the straight man, Carl. Which, if he's the straight man, that's a bad sign because Carl's an idiot.
He's an absolute madman.
He's just dumb. And he's a victim of circumstance, but like a lot of it's his fault. I really
he always
deeply-
regrets when like having like these freaking freaks as his neighbors or whatever.
I relate to Carl.
I think like he's the guy you're supposed to kind of relate to, despite his like ridiculous circumstances. But like there's this particular scene I'm talking about in the show, like like again you can look it up, like Grim Reaper Gutters or whatever. Like he comes over and Carl just like completely flips him off. He's just like, I don't want any damn gutters. And so he literally just touches him and he falls on the ground, immediately dead. and the Fry guy, Frylock, in the show, he's just like, Shake's just like, oh my God, they killed Carl. And Fry's just like, I know, but is he gone? Is he just like it's a really ridiculous episode, and finally, like, Frolic gives up. He's just like, I guess I'm gonna go buy some goddamn gutters, and he gets like the deluxe super package.
Oh, didn't they make the whole house in the gutters?
Yeah, they wrapped gutters around the whole house and like installed this laser system that shoots any leaves before they even hit the ground. It was completely over the top and hilarious. It was only 11 minutes.
That's the thing why it's funny. It went over the top. Let me try to fuse two cliches together. What are some good cliches? One of my favorite cliches, like, it has to be like a funny one, because like there's literary cliches I adore, but I can't really make them funny.
A 2-man podcast.
That's not. Is that a cliche?
Yeah, podcast with only 2 people. Yeah, 2 hosts.
It's not a cliche though.
It's a trope. Whatever.
It's a generalization.
It's a trope.
No,
Hey,
it's not.
yeah, a show with 2 people in it.
Yeah, maybe if you're an editor of TV tropes, it's a
Yeah,
trope.
the 2 stupid dogs, whatever, fucking.
Cop sitcoms are usually a pretty big trope.
Yeah, buddy cop.
2 stupid podcast
Where they're
hosts.
standing back to back with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
That is a bitch. That is a trope. All right, we'll do cops, but I'm gonna do a different cliche.
Do
We got
cops. Hold on, do cops and I almost said babies.
Oh no, that's been done too. believe it or
Remember
not.
Baby Looney Tunes? No. Do cops and fast food clerks.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
It's basically a mall cop. I'd say cliches, man. What are some funny cliches?
God, Mike, just pick one.
All right, they're cops,
They're cops.
but they
they
are also princesses.
Disney princesses.
Yeah.
So that gem in the hollow, whatever's.
What?
You said that show with Gem. I forget what.
Gem and the holograms?
Yeah.
Where they're definitely, I don't think cops nor princesses.
Fine, to be
I
cops.
think they're holograms.
They're royal cops. They're basically Imperial Inquisitors, I guess.
All right, no, they're cops are something very specific. Like
What?
cliches, I don't know.
Cops.
Cops.
Dude, just cops. Cops who I don't know.
Oh,
Fucking.
Carl Winslow.
I don't know. Cops who
Or Carl Winslow.
are Carl Winslow.
Who is a cop?
Cop sitcom are both cops.
They're both Carl Winslow.
Dude, all right.
All right, Austin, carry on the show.
A cartoon where Carl Winslow and Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince, right? There's a cop and there's a judge.
Yeah.
To get all right, so let's say that Uncle Phil's in danger of losing his job, so he hires Carl Winslow to be a bad cop.
This is the
And-
worst show ever. Not just that show, but this one as well.
Yeah. Carl and Uncle Phil.
How about a show where 2 guys go on the internet every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time and just say utter garbage on the microphone?
Carl Winslow and Uncle Phil.
Yeah, Carl Winslow and Uncle Phil and Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean.
Uncle Phil. Give him the bass guitar.
We could try to get Carl Winslow on the show.
Now hold on, I want my act to be Adam West, even though he's dead.
dead.
I know.
So is Uncle
So
Phil.
yeah, I was going to say.
Let's move on to the actual topic.
It's Uncle Phil and
So
Carl Winslow.
we're creatively dead. So why don't you just like keep going with that prompt while I think of something? Go. What are you doing?
My Little Pony.
No.
Do it.
No. All right. I promised 2 minutes of possibly talking about MLP. So I guess here it is.
Listen, what are we gonna do otherwise?
My Little Pony
Yeah.
is a cartoon
Yeah.
that started a whole movement
Yeah.
with bronies.
Yeah.
And it got so out of control that it had to be contained everywhere. The end. That's all we're going to talk
But
about.
why did it start the movement? What was it about it? What was about it?
Because apparently it was actually funny, but unfortunately it was attached to a thing tailored for little girls. Like
It was for general audiences.
All right, but this is why that's not true. Because you know what I said about the Powerpuff Girls and how that was appropriate for general audiences? Because there were male characters and there was also female characters and everyone was basically equal.
Yeah.
Nothing was too girly. These are literally pink horses and unicorns and Pegasuses.
They're mythical creatures.
I don't care. So we're like...
Okay, but that doesn't explain why the bronies were created.
I don't want to talk about that.
Why?
Because it's uncomfortable. I don't know. It's an anomaly. It's one of those things you just can't explain. like why it rains. Just doesn't make sense.
Why it rains? Wait, we can't explain that?
No.
Why not?
I don't have to explain it.
Listen, remember that convention where the bronies went to and there was like pee in the ball pit or whatever?
And this is what, see, the reason I don't want to talk about it is because you just can't take it serious. Oh, God.
Go into the fan base.
Why don't I go into the fan base?
Just generally what their general audience is.
Well, he already said it's for girls.
No, but explain the disparity.
The fact that it is tailored for little girls, but it is often grown men who watch it. That is quite the disparity that I honestly couldn't tell you why.
Okay, hold on. What does that say? Hold on. Let's look at actually philosophical for a second. What does that say about grown men during that time? What does that say about little girls during that time?
That they like horses. I guess.
Was that it?
I guess the horses did funny things. I don't know. I didn't watch the show because the show was made for little girls, which I am not.
It's good TV.
Did you watch it?
Sometimes.
Then why am I the one being asked? Why do you think?
Well, because there was, I think there was like a level of whimsy missing from perhaps the male audience during the time that they were growing up, probably. Like the fact that they're not like young men, they're like grown men. Like I feel as if there was a level of kind of whimsy and color that there actually is somewhat appealing to men.
It could have been any other animal. It's just ponies.
Well, that and their ponies, I think.
I think it's just because they're ponies is why I'm like, I would be ashamed to watch it. If they were like anything else, like if they were ants or something.
My little ants.
My little ants, dude. Which are already little. My little ants, my little toucans, my little
toucans.
My little pygmy marmosets, I don't know.
You think it was just because they were ponies?
Yes.
What about with girls? Why don't girls like ponies?
I don't know if they don't like ponies or not. Because I don't think little girls are really concerned with cartoons. I think most kids just play on their tablets nowadays. I don't know what kids do anymore.
So what you're saying is that it was just missing a generation, like it was after its time.
Sure.
All right. Well,
or maybe it's ahead of its time, and like we're gonna go back to horses. I don't know. Moving on, please. How much time do we have left anyway?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. That's very funny. It's as long as a standard show lasts.
That is pretty interesting. I can't tell if Steve is tired or just really regrets having ever accepted this show.
Steve's very much both.
All right, let's talk about Family Guy.
Everyone says I look like Peter Griffin. I don't want to talk about Family Guy.
Why?
Oh, all right. So
okay. Listen.
What I like about Family Guy, I think that's noteworthy, is I got canceled twice and it's still on the air. No, I seriously do like. And it got more popular as a result. Usually that doesn't happen.
It's a tactical decision.
I guess.
It was all a ruse, probably. They were probably never even going to get canceled.
No, it got dropped from the network and picked up by a new one.
Oh.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. It was
Family
on Fox.
Guy? It was on Fox the entire time.
Yeah, but then it got picked up by.
I got syndicated, you mean?
I believe it got picked up. I believe it got dropped and then picked up.
By TBS, right? Or something?
No, by Cartoon Network. Or it started on Cartoon Network.
No, what happened? What happened was they put it back on the air because of it got syndicated. I believe it got canceled, and then they saw how well it was doing on reruns on Adult Swim, so they brought it back on Fox because Fox still owned the rights. And then it got more syndicated or something to that effect.
No, whatever.
It's a very complicated menagerie of crap that happened.
Let's talk about the tropes though in Family Guy though, like the dumb father, the dumb fat father,
dumb fat father. The housewife, the straight woman housewife.
Yeah.
The dumb, abrasive kid, Chris. Meg wasn't anything in the early days. Then
Well,
she got
no, she was just like the butt end of the joke always.
no, not really always. She was treated with a modicum of respect, but then after it came back, she was the butt of the joke. And then Stewie used to be the, like, I guess stereotypical evil person. Then he changed to the stereotypical like
Homosexual.
yes,
This
like
is weird. Like the show is pure like kind of like The Simpsons. The show is about stereotypes.
it's called Flanderization. They got Flanderized.
What does that mean?
It comes from The Simpsons. Ned Flanders. It refers to Ned Flanders. He used to be like a guy who happened to be Catholic. Then later on, his whole personality was being Catholic. It's things like that. Peter was a little dumb. He got Flanderized, and now he's like brain dead. Or Lois would be the straight woman, got Flanderized, and now she'd be literally no fun allowed the entire time. Meg may be made fun of a lot, got Flanderized, and now she's the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Stewie's character just changed the whole 180. And then Brian was also a straight man, and then he became like the stereotypical like crying like
Progressive.
yeah, like the bleeding heart, you know?
Yeah. Starving artist, sort of.
Yeah, he became a totally different.
He was supposed to be like
stereotype.
a personification of Seth MacFarlane himself, really.
He was a Flanderization because like it was a down to earth person, and then it got Flanderized to the person who thinks he's woke.
Yeah.
I got the information on Family Guy. I was reading while this was going on.
All right, pull it up, Jamie.
It started on hold on, let me get the headphones so I can hear myself. It started on Fox. It got canceled on Fox. It got moved around. It was pitted against Frasier. It was pitted against Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it was constantly moved around schedule to the point where no one even noticed. So then it got dropped, and they got officially canceled in 2003, I think it says. And then it got picked up by Family Guy or by Adult Swim, who bought the rights. And then it was going on Adult Swim, and then Fox picked it back up.
Oh. See,
it unveiled its fall lineup where Family Guy wasn't there, and then Adult Swim's like, this is some good stuff, and then they picked it up.
Imagine.
Yeah, Adult Swim relies on the McFarlane shows very heavily to this day for the ratings.
That you watch.
I do. Like, American Dad's legitimately good. It's one of those shows that started off bad and got great, which is weird. Like, it's, oh my god, it's good. All right.
All of Seth MacFarlane's works are generally all right.
Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of comedy.
That was bad.
Seth MacFarlane stopped doing like Family Guy forever ago.
And
then you also have what is it? With the A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Ted was good.
Ted 2 though
was bad.
Not that great.
I didn't watch it. But I know a lot of people had flack on the Cleveland show because like they made it black Family Guy, and then people were like, "This is not how black people like."
No, it was bland character development. It was bland interaction, and no one cared. Cleveland was the least cared about character on the show.
It was bland, but like people were calling it just
discourse.
We're just calling it Black Family Guy as if that was like, and then they just acted like Family Guy. There was no difference. Like I heard some people in the black community kind of complaining about it, like this isn't how like things go. This is just Family Guy. And like it got too stereotypical in points. Sometimes it didn't add anything to anything. Just bad.
All right.
Because you picked the most boring character out of the four. Like imagine I see. I mean, a show about Joe would just be depressing because they Flanderized Joe. He used to be like the hero cop, and then they made fun of his disabilities. I think Cleveland's the only one who didn't get Flanderized because he's so boring. Even his whole show, he was just being like just himself.
Hey, Mort got turned to the super Jewish.
No, he was always a stereotype. No. He's the one thing that was constant.
All right, so
and Quagmire, God Almighty.
I hope you can divine some level of information from that massive salad of information.
Yeah, I hate cartoons so freaking much.
But I mean, cartoons.
You want to talk about Mike Mystery? So we have 5 minutes.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to talk about the Nephilim. See, you're talking. They're giants are in like all types of folklore and things, but they're like mentioned in the Bible as either being fallen angels, or you could interpret Nephilim as fallen angels or giants.
Yeah. And
I think it's giants because of the fact that they exaggerate height a decent amount in the Bible. And I was reminded of Tom and Jerry when you said this because the giant character. The very first giant versus not giant person story ever was David and Goliath.
Yeah.
And people think Goliath is the descendant of the Nephilim because he's so damn tall. And I think some people think there was legitimately a giant race because there's like so much talk about it in literature from before the Great Flood and stuff like that. Not from, like, dated before the Great Flood.
Yeah.
And just so many cultures have giants, and there's, like, things like Stonehenge you could think maybe giants made, because, like, how they get all that stuff there.
Yeah.
So, basically, very rushed Mike's Mysteries, but giants were real. I'm telling you that for a fact that they were real.
Mike is descended from giants.
Yeah, I'm actually like 7,000 feet. I'm like 8'5".
His legs are like snaking across the floor that way. He's like sitting down.
Me and Steve are playing footsie right now.
5'60".
His toe is actually holding up the camera.
I'm the literal building. I'm like that one Garfield parody. Oh, we didn't talk about Garfield in the cartoon episode. Yeah, dude, we'll do it. Go for it. We'll do a dive on Garfield.
Oh, God.
Imagine. John. I'm hungry, John.
Oh, God. I think they gave me a brain tumor. Everything's going to black.
We've gone to plaid.
Everything hurts. Garfield.
We didn't even look at that prompt once. This is a good episode, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I've been looking at it.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, how can I not? It's like right in front of me. I mean, you've been drawing the whole time. I mean, like you were supposed to. Let's see your drawings, Mike.
All I drew was the octopus. Do you see it?
Tilt it forward a bit.
That eyeball.
Perfect.
The octopus, that eyeball with lightning all around it, that poorly drawn hand, that one guy, and I drew...
Hands are hard to draw.
I drew funnel cake guy and Big Cuppa. Oh, we like Big Cuppa? Is Big Cuppa the new mascot?
No, it looks good. I can see it on camera.
What?
I can see it on camera. That's why I'm giving thumbs up.
No, he's laughing.
Oh.
He really likes Big Cuppa.
No, you the way that you said Big Cuppa.
Dude, he's a no-joke character. Very deadpan.
Say a joke that Big Cuppa would say.
I hate the morning. And... See, that's why you need, like, Big Cuppa is a depressing character. You need someone to lighten him up, like a donut or something.
You should be happier, Big Cuppa.
At least the hole in your heart's filled with coffee. Is like, I don't care. Sip.
Cartoons, everybody.
They were necessary.
Yeah, we could honestly go on and on about them for hours.
They were cool because they were moving art, and people back in the day very much appreciated it. And now you could express and use them a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
And now you could use them for evil. We should have talked about how you could use them for propaganda, like all the banned cartoons.
Oh yeah,
that were propaganda, that were blatantly racist.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those.
Yeah, God.
They were bad.
They were pretty bad. The caricatures of like people who just did not deserve that.
Yep.
All right, but cartoons, everybody, go watch some. And you should also keep watching Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean on Area 22 Productions, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every week on Wednesday. Donate to our Patreon, Area 22.
Follow my Instagram.
Every week.
Listen, don't worry. I did it good starting.
Donate to patreon.com/area22.
Thank you.
Follow Tales Podcast on Instagram, please.
Don't do it.
No.
We're going down.